Hello. Friday morning class. It's the 25th, June 25th. My friend Lauren is here.
Hi. Come in.
So this will be a shorter class. We're going to use 2 balls, maybe a block. I like the shorter classes for when you're doing them online because sometimes it's hard to take a whole hour class online. Even I'm like, ooh, I'll do a 30-minute one. So come to an upright seated posture. Here's the ball, the block. Thanks. You don't have to sit on the block if it's not comfortable. It's more comfortable for my knees to have my hips above my knees. Yeah.
Once I get on.
Yeah, that's me. We're going to use our practice today to help us ground and arrive. You know, I have felt the like high-paced life of summer energy. So slowing down and grounding. I was thinking about balance the other day. When we look at our life and if we're balanced, the tendency can be to look at a pretty small chunk of our life. When we look at a small chunk, it can be really imbalanced because it can be more like in one mode than another. So it's helpful to take a bigger chunk. So as you sit and feel into how you feel balanced in your life, don't just think like today or this, how this past week has been, maybe like this month, the past few months. And since we tend to go so fast, these classes are really great because they're an extreme slowdown. So it can help if we take a big chunk, it can make our average more mellow. And let your chin fall towards your chest. We're going to start to rotate the head on the spine. Really slow. When the head tips back, chin stays slightly tucked, so you're not just hanging the head back heavy. And when you finish your one circle, take the circle in the other direction. We have different parts of ourself, right? Like our body, our mind, our emotions. Sometimes when we slow one down, if we're used to going fast, we slow one down, the other ones get really loud. Take your circle back in the first direction, kind of like going to sleep. Sage has a really hard time falling asleep at night. When he lays down and gets his body still, his mind gets like so loud to counter the body being still. I'm noticing if that ever happens, and that it can happen. And again, we'll reverse it for the last time. And so the yoga practice becomes much less about trying to control something to be one way and more just creating a really big container to hold whatever's present. Okay, really nice. Find one of your balls. And we're going to rub. So I like to take a ball to my opposite shoulder and rub the upper trap. You can add your other hand. You can go slow, you can go fast. I like rolling around and then doing a firm press. So roll and then compress. Try to push my shoulder up into the ball, push the ball into my shoulder, and then roll again. You can play with how you angle your head. How does this feel, Lauren, with like where you're getting your migraines? Does it feel like this is
Yeah, this is right.
Does it hurt? Like painful? Does it feel good? It feels hurt. Yeah. I think the hand with the ball is just so accessible.
Yeah.
You can just do so much. Keep doing the shoulder, but stretch the arm out. You stretch it down or up or forward or back. And now let's take the right hand to the floor, left hand on the shoulder, and draw some backward shoulder circles. Head hangs heavy. Yeah, there you go. Oh, nice. And then use your right elbow to push you up, and then we'll go to the other side. Left hand has the ball. And the brain, so smart, always adapting. Most of our brains learn when we get bored, we just like think about something else, keep ourselves entertained. Well, and your yoga practice is a really good time to practice not doing that. You stretch the arm as you rub it, if that adds to it. There's a few different things here up on the side of your neck. This is your levator scapulae, so it helps lift your shoulder up. Then you have your upper tract that helps lift your shoulders, moves your arms. And then a little bit farther back than your tract, where you have your scapula, you have like the little edge of your scapula, and between the edge of your scapula and like your tract, there's that, your subscapularis. You can get when you rub this place too, and then you can even get a little bit up into your scalings. So much stuff. Okay, let's do our shoulder circle. So the hand with the ball is going to come down to the floor. Right hand comes up, holds the shoulder, and then backward shoulder circles. Yeah. Head hangs heavy. Not doing the rotation of the whole shoulders, getting a lot of movement, a lot of mobility, and then push down through your left hand, spring yourself up, kick the ball again. So we're going to go down to our pec. We're going to go right underneath the collarbone. Sometimes I'll use one hand, sometimes I'll use both. Pecs are such a key in our posture. Oftentimes the pecs are tight and they keep the shoulders forward, they keep the back rounded, keep the head forward. We're going to follow underneath the collarbone all the way down to the edge of the sternum, and then kind of heel from the sternum over to the ribs. The knuckles of the ribs hook on. If you find one that sticks out or something, you can do like a compress onto the rib. Releasing these ribs really affects your lungs capacity. And then we'll go to the other side. So if you can figure out what pec is tighter. You have your pec major that attaches onto your sternum. So it's like the whole sheath. And then my pec minor, I think pec minor is the one that's normally more tight on people. Your pec minor attaches from your upper shoulder to like right here. So it's a very small muscle, but normally this is the biggest. What's more tight than just the pecs is the pec minor. I think we'll do a pec ball move today. I remember. Try going like this with your arm when you do the pec. so you can get into it a little more. And then come down to the sternum, get the knuckles. Awesome. Okay. I think we're even. We should be even. We're going to do a diaphragm release by taking the two balls right to the floating ribs. So your floating ribs are the ones down here that don't attach on as much. We're going to go right in there. I can be a few inches down from the scapulas. I hold my balls, line myself up. And we're going to do our breathing to help us settle in. So it's a balance of the parasympathetic breath and the sympathetic breath. So as you inhale and hold your breath, that's your more active part. And then as you exhale and hold the bottom of your exhale, that's your more parasympathetic part. We'll do one round of those and then normal breath and then repeat. Your next exhale, let that breathing exercise go. Now try to contract your back, squeeze your core, flex your back, push yourself into the blocks or the ball, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then relax your muscles. And now we're going to take the hands behind the head, supporting the head. We're going to do a little bit of a crunch. And we're going to stretch our feet forward. And we're going to pull ourselves so my heels go a few inches forward, and then my butt scooches forward, and then I drag my back forward. So I'm going to slowly roll the balls up the back. We want the balls to be on either side of the spine, so they're not going at the spinous processes, and they go in between the shoulder blades. So I often have to stop and adjust my clothes, adjust the balls. Oh. If you get to a place that feels really good, like normally having the two balls between the shoulder blades for me feels really good. If I can get them to stay. Yeah. Real life yoga, you guys. None of that fake stuff. Then you can do like little crunches, like you're up over the balls, and then you can release your head down. We'll take quite a few minutes working our way up all the way to the balls at the base of the neck. So you can do the breathing, you can do contract and relax, you can do little lifts up with your head. Another nice one is snow angels, so your arms, palms up, open and close. And we'll slowly be doing these as you move the balls. Working with therapy balls has a lot of benefits. One of the ones I really like is getting to be more resilient in our nervous system, getting to feel ourselves under pressure in an uncomfortable place and being able to kind of feel that wave pass. Whenever the ball is pinned, you could do some range of movement. Oh, one of my friends really likes to, she likes to take the arm up and then draw the shoulder back to the floor. Plug unplugs with the shoulder. Notice if you feel like you're fighting your body or bend it to your will. See if this can be more of a practice of cooperation. Body, brain, mind, heart, all moving together without pushing one in front of the bus. So for me now, my balls are about and right at the top of my scapulas as they're being worked at my back. But they can be wherever you want for you. If the balls ever feel too intense, you can add like a blanket over the balls or a pillow. I'll sometimes do. Sometimes I'll stick my balls under my mat. You also do it on the wall. This isn't necessarily about like getting good at enduring pain. Maybe do some snow angels. We're going to begin to move into having one ball under each trap. So it's like right at the top, kind of popping out. If I took my hands and like rubbed them over my collarbone, my fingers would run into the ball. And I'm kind of pushing my feet in the direction of my toes so that my body weight is getting pushed into the balls a little bit more. Hands are relaxed by the sides, palm faced up. And then lift your hips up like a bridge. As the hips lift, it will be applying more weight to the balls and then lower down. You want to keep your arms down by your side so you could take them out towards more of the T. Lift up. And let's lift up and lower down, adjusting arms if you'd like to change the way the balls are applying pressure to the traps. And you can continue to lift and lower, or at some point you can find a block and keep your hips lifted in a more passive pose. Start with the block on the lowest level. The balls feel like they could be moved into a different place along that line of your back trap. Adjust those. You want a little bit more pressure, you can take your block to the second level. And see if you can go into your body and relax the hidden tension. There's so many places in us we keep contracted out of like fear. And that can add into feeling like overwhelmed because there's all this extra energy. So in our practice, being able to get grounded in our body and our sensations and turn off some of these places that are leaking energy. You could do snow angels with your shoulders like this. And then when you feel ready, we'll push into the feet, lift up the hips, remove the block, and slowly go down. Now let's take the balls out. Let's put one ball right underneath the right hip, kind of where like the top of a back pocket would be. So you're underneath your actual hip bone. If you're looking at your thumb on your low back or your sacrum meets your ilium, we're below that. You're working between that space and right above the sitting bone. So pushing into your feet so you kind of hover, slide your booty side to side, all the way out to the side of the hip and then in towards the sacrum. As you do this, you could work the ball down your bum more, doing this cross fiber friction. If you find a place that feels interesting, you could stay there. You could do your breathing pattern. You can squeeze your glute and relax your glute. You can add mobilization, so like letting that knee drop down to the floor is one of my favorites, and pulling it back up. We'll be here for a few minutes now exploring this part of our glute. We have a lot of tightness back here that can affect the position of our pelvis. If you're in something juicy, you can stay there or reach down with the ball kind of side to you. Reach down with your right hand and follow the right thigh bone, the outside edge of the right thigh bone down. And then feel in, and there's like a little, you can push into the side of your butt and feel the head of your femur bone. So I'm going to take the ball right into the edge of my femur bone, and I'm going to try to do pressure, compression, pressure around the femur bone. I'm going to let my knee hang out and let the weight of my hip just hang. And if you're right around the edge of your femur bone, this should be intense because there's so much stuff that attaches there. And we're going to see if we can almost do a full circle around it. So then I'll move my ball just a little bit, and I'm going to try to move. And I like to move it with I'll often move it with my hand, but that's all of this is personal preference. We're just going to try and move the ball around the perimeter of that lateral head of the femur. Where a lot of your hamstrings, glutes come and attach. You'll notice that some areas are less sensational than the others. It's those ones that feel like extra interesting, that have the potential of taking your awareness even deeper. And when you finish your circle, that's okay if you're not finished yet. We're going to take the right leg over the left knee. And we're going to do the same booty kind of rolling side to side or in the circle on the right hip. So when you cross the leg over, it makes your muscles that attach the back of that head of the femur bone to the sacrum. This makes those muscles more accessible. The most popular muscle in this group is the piriformis. These piriformis, these muscles are really, really good for compression. So once you've kind of rolled on it, give yourself a little bit of time to find something that's sensational and relaxing onto it. Maybe the contract and squeeze could be nice if you feel yourself resisting. Thanks, and then go back, move the ball, use your knees, do little knee circles. Hold one knee in each hand and open side to side. See if with your hands you can be kind of checking the way your hips feel. Moving in both directions, can get a little bit to the hamstring. Okay. I'm always so surprised what a difference it makes, not only the rolling out, but just having your awareness on a body part. My after always feels like so much different than my other side. Okay. So feet on the floor, ball underneath the left pocket, with the back of the pants, an imaginary pocket. And let the knee open and close if you want. We'll find the edge of the head of the femur bone. And start to go around it. Can you tell which hip is tighter for you?
I think maybe this one.
The left.
Yeah.
So
Or maybe the right. I don't know. No.
And sometimes it will be different. Sometimes it'll be like your right glute is stronger than your left glute, but your like left calf is stronger than your right glute. I like to comparing side to side because it just gives me something to be aware of. And bringing that foot up until your figure four cross. Feel to release to semicircles. Check your hips, see if you can tell the difference. So one more bridge, feet on the floor. Push into the feet, lift the knees away, lift the back up. So what I love so much about bridge pose is because we're a sitting society, we sit so much. This is one of the few poses that really gives a full stretch across the hips that are just so easy to, or it's easier to access. That's a really good one. Okay, we're gonna take our block and we're gonna take our ball. You can experiment with what you like more. If you want to do one ball, I like to do two. And we're accessing, so this is the back, the superficial back line, and this is where underneath the occiput, where the fascia connects, so for it, that it goes over our head under the eyebrows. So there's this area we're accessing is like the whole back, the hips, the thighs. This is a really powerful area. And then you can do little rotations like no, like you're saying no. I always have to keep pushing my balls back in. You can nod your head like yes. You can figure out how to angle your head off to the side to get like the side of the occiput. You can stay here with the balls. Or you can, if you take a block, you can angle the block up. So it's on the edge, on my back of the occiput's on the edge that's closest to me. I'm gonna hold my block a little bit so it stays steady, elbows up. And then I'm gonna roll my head side to side. So getting a massage on the same points. If you wanna stay on the balls, that's fine. Okay, now we're gonna come to lay back on the block again. We're gonna roll over to our side. And we're gonna get the inner occiput one more time. So where the neck comes up, where the hairline is, about 2 inches diagonal from the ear. Nodding, shaking the head no, pressure. You move your jaw around, sometimes that can help you access some stuff back up in the skull. You can really take the ball anywhere on the head. So if you wanted to go up higher on the head, you're developing a relationship with the ball so you know when it's okay and when it's not okay. And that takes experimenting and paying attention. Now hide them from here. We're gonna come to the TMJ spot. So we're like from your ear hole, you go in like an inch. It's like a little triangle. If you open your mouth, you have like your cheekbone and your jaw. We're gonna put the ball right there. A little bit of pressure, little nods, little shakes, little jaw movements. The jaw muscles is connected to the pelvic floor muscles. In both of those spots, we tend to be a little restricted. You can think about releasing your pelvis and the jaw. Do you know if you grind your teeth at night?
Oh, I think I do. Yeah, I work math card.
Oh, that would play into. So the other spot we're gonna come from here is the temples. I like to be, there's like a perfect spot where you can push in with your thumb. I like to go just slightly above that. And then you can do little nods with your head to stretch the muscle, shakes. I'm surprised how much like tension I have up here.
Well, I never touch it there.
You know, it's so interesting how we don't touch so much of the body. There's some areas you touch, and then there's a lot that we don't attend to.
Yeah.
And then we'll take it to the other side. I think a lot of these ball classes are just to give you guys ideas of things you can do with the ball by yourself. And I'll start with the occiput behind I'm on the left side. Rolling can be really good to do before night because it turns on the vagus nerve. So you might feel yourself getting sleepy. And then moving up to the TMJ when you feel ready. Temporal mandibular joint. And the mandible, your mouth connects on to the head bone. Sprocket. Oh, look here, though, sorry. You'll just attack one. This is. Ooh. It would be a lot. Yeah. When you get upset, can you feel, do you clench your teeth?
I don't know.
I can feel myself when I get like annoyed with like the kids or something. And like, it's like instead of like yelling at them, I like squeeze my teeth together.
Oh,
really
I think
hard.
I squeeze my neck and stuff though.
Yeah, so it's just like, it's so interesting to find the things that we do so frequently without realizing it.
Yeah, like tense my neck.
Oh. The fascia, the connective tissue, it has 10 times more sensation than sensory nerves, I think they're called, than muscle, which has been really interesting for people who study pain, because before we were looking for like the muscles and now it's like, oh, it's the skin.
Yeah.
The connective tissue. That's what fibromyalgia you're kind of saying is, right?
Oh, really? I don't know.
I think so. Let's go to the temple.
I know I mean, yeah, I thought that they just didn't know what fibromyalgia, like what was happening really.
I think now that like fascia is more of a thing there. I'll look into it. My roommate, I told you about the Scorpio.
Yeah.
She had fibromyalgia.
My neighbor had fibromyalgia.
Okay. Let's turn around onto our stomachs. Oh, I went the long way. We'll do a pec one. So this will be our pec minors. I'm going to put the ball on the block and I'm going right. If I take my thumb to my armpit and my index finger, I can like squeeze the muscles. That's what I'm kind of going to be targeting. And you could do this anywhere on your pec. I just have the pec on you. And then you press into the ball with your pec into the block. And then you move the arm. Is that intense for you?
Yeah. Yes, it is.
When you're into your face is so like you can't tell.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I can't tell, yes. So and then there's a way to access your armpit too, so you can put the ball on the block. I'm trying to get right into my armpit. So we're accessing where the head of the humerus goes in, which is really similar to the femur bone. We went around and we're also accessing subscapularis. And this is where there's a line that goes up to the head that can be connected to migraines. And this can be a release for it. You can do your sustained compression, you can do your engagement and relax, your breath, and then doing some range of movement with the arm is really good here too. Oh. When you feel done, so I'll do a few little circles. We'll do on the other side. Oh. I always try when I'm doing, I always try to do what is it? I always try to do the left side first. So it's normally not as intense, and then I'm always surprised. I'm like, oh, I'm not too tight here. And then I do the right side and die. So if you're ready, you can go for the armpit. And where you're really tight, those muscles are like so tight, they can like stay hidden. An octopus can like squeeze itself through like the smallest spaces. Somehow these tight muscles can stay like so hidden. Oh. You have to look around for it. Don't just be like, oh, this side's good. No. Keep looking. And then I like to lay my head down to try to relax through that muscle we're trying to get. Yeah, so if you move your arms, this will be some good work, which should be everyone. Okay. Let's come up into a cobra. You could squeeze a block between your inner thighs if you want. It'd be a really nice way of eliminating any low back stuff. Think about dragging yourself forward. You do some shoulder rolls. And then we're going to push back to child's pose without the block with our 2 balls. And we're going to put the balls about an inch down from the knee pit. So it's kind of like at the where the gastrocnemius and soleus are. And then we're going to sit back. I normally do my child's pose up on my forearms for this. And my balls will kind of roll away to avoid the tight places. So I'm always having to, often reaching back and adjusting the balls. This might be my most intense one of the practice.
Really not even barely feel it.
Really?
Yeah.
Move them down more. Still not?
Yeah, I got
You can also sit up on them like this.
Yeah.
You can't feel that?
Not as much as like I can in other places.
That's really interesting. It's like I know your calves are tight. Like, how could they not? I think that they just must be really hidden.
I guess.
Yeah, that's really interesting. You can also take a towel and roll a towel up. So it's like this, maybe fold it over in half, roll it up halfway. So, and then you put your head on the floor and you stick the towel in as much as you can, and then you sit up on your knees. That kills me too. I can't do it right now with my foot, but I can't do this.
I mean, like I can, but it's not like other places. You know what I mean?
I could almost cry.
Yeah, like you can literally like squeeze it all the way down. You know?
So when you feel ready, you can lay back for Shavasana. I'm going to let you do the Shavasana by yourself. So give yourself a chance to lay down or sit, but do take a moment and ground and integrate. So we'll do the same.